Today, I'm going to share with you my experiences living in the United States for the past 3 years. Coming right up. What is happening, my beautiful people? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today is exactly 3 years since I left Ghana to come to school in the United States of America, and I cannot tell you how that journey has become. Interestingly, I was contemplating, should I make a video about this? Should I even talk about it? Especially because of all the things that I've been through since I've been here. But then I decided that why not make a video to kind of look back on my journey since being here and where I am now, so that at least I'm able to share that journey with you all and to also address some concerns and issues that I've faced throughout this time. So if you're ready, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so before we get further into the video, let me just tell you all why I left Ghana and I came to the United States in the first place. I successfully gained admission to come to the United States, Ohio University precisely, to get a master's degree. And it was actually my second master's, and I just submitted my thesis for my first master's program in Ghana. And so this meant that getting this admission at this particular point in time did not only put me in a very tight spot, but it also caught me off guard. Now I had to find money to go get a visa, find money to at least pay the necessary deposits and stuff like that. It was really difficult and I was broke at the time. But I had some few people, family especially, who came through and through for me. I also had a few friends in Ohio who also showed support. Outside of that, I also had some people who were like, hey, we don't have money to support you, but take XYZ to at least help make your journey and also your first few weeks in Ohio University a good one at least. So that is how or why I left Ghana and I came to the United States of America. Now, the interesting thing is when you are outside of a community or a country, what you see or hear about that community on TV is totally different once you get into that community and start having a first-hand experience. So trust me, when I came into the United States, it was kind of a bittersweet moment because one, finally I was in the United States, but I also didn't know the extent to which the grind was going to be, which brings me to my second point. Okay, so when I was coming to Ohio University, I thought I had a lot of money, right? Until I paid 2 months rent and I was left with $15 in my pocket. Living here and living in Ghana comes with so many differences. It doesn't matter whether you have friends here or not. Everybody is going through a different kind of struggle. So the kind of support that you might expect to get from people that you know before coming here may not materialize. And for me, I had to learn some of these things the hard way. At first, I started taking it personally, and then I took a step back and realized that no, these people I know here are also students and they are going through the same kind of struggles that I'm going through, irrespective of the fact that they've been here for a while. So that was the first lesson I had to learn. Secondly, I was facing a lot of challenges personally. Now, moving from a country that always has sunlight and the weather is always nice, and coming into a country where you can basically experience 4 seasons in a day, especially in Ohio, was really challenging. I found myself falling really sick and under the weather for a while whilst my body went through that transition. I remember I started layering up in late October and people would make fun of me because I would feel cold and people would still be walking around in t-shirt. But yes, that was one of the challenges that I was facing, aside the fact that I didn't have enough money. Now the second challenge was mentally, because you live in a different country. You don't know what is out there for you, and so how to make money or how to find jobs on campus to even get by was a big deal. But hey, I'm already in the United States. I didn't come this far just to come this far. So quitting was not even an option. But with the help of a few friends, I started learning the ropes quickly. I started applying to campus jobs and stuff like that, which started making things a little bit easy. My roommate and I were basically going through the same kind of stress. We were also in the same program, which was really stressful, but we were also there for each other. We talked about things like these, and we were kind of like a social support system to each other. Now, the third thing, or the third challenge that I kind of faced, was the academic aspect. Now, coming from Ghana and a different educational system, the level of expectation that all your 4 or 5 professors may have from you, depending on how many classes you were taking, was insanely stressful. Like, assignments were just pouring in, deadlines were just staring you in the face, and it basically felt like I didn't have a life. This wasn't how I saw myself living in the United States. But hey, I quickly remembered that my number one goal for being here was to go to school, which was something that I quickly had to adjust and started focusing on. Again, being in the program that I was challenging and stressful because there were other international students, and so sometimes working on group projects and stuff like that came with its own challenges, but it also came with its own learning experience, which was really good because I got to work with students from Bahrain, Colombia, Honduras. It was fun. So aside the challenges, there were some good aspects and learning processes that I basically enjoyed in my first few weeks when I first came into the United States of America. I probably should have said this as the biggest challenge, but I faced a lot of homesickness. Ask any international student, they will tell you homesickness is real, and you never really feel homesick until the holidays kick in. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, and things like that. When people are leaving campus to go spend time with their families, that's when it hits you in the face that you are here by yourself and you literally have to find something to do. So homesickness was a big deal, but I also tell people that if I'd come here in the year 2000 or 99 or late 2000s, things would have been way different because, of course, smartphones and technology had not advanced to this point, and so it would have been difficult really to communicate with family. But now, thanks to WhatsApp and Zoom and all these other apps, I'm able to talk to family, which kind of eased the homesickness, even though it wasn't that perfect. But hey, I'll take this over having to write a letter, which will take 2 weeks to get to Ghana, and then it will take some time for them to read, absorb all of that, write me back. It would be crazy if I was doing this back in the day. Who knows, maybe I would have survived. But yes, homesickness was a big part. It led to a lot of sadness, depression, feeling unwanted, and things like that. But then again, when you remember your goals for coming into the country, all of those things become secondary, and it becomes your motivation because you've left family behind, you've left a life that you are comfortable with, a culture that you are comfortable with, a society that most often than not accepts you, to come here to fight for something. So that basically fuels you to get up and continue the grind. And that was basically what shifted my focus into focusing more on school and finding other activities around campus that I could do. Alright, I know I've talked a lot about my challenges. Don't get me wrong, it does not mean that the clouds were just dark. Being in this school and this country, I also found myself quickly enjoying the community. I put myself out there to basically serve community, and I ended up being a face of a community project that Ohio University did. Hello everybody, I'm Richard Kwashi. I'm a graduate student studying communications and development, and I care about creating community everywhere I go. And to do work with the community to the extent that the school recognizes that and says that, hey, we see what you've been doing for community, and we want you to take this a step further. For me, it was an amazing feeling as well. Another thing too that I quickly became was the fact that I quickly went from being a student to being a teacher. Now here's why. When you live in a different country, or whether you like it or not, you are definitely going to be an ambassador of the country where you come from. Somebody may run into you and you may probably be the only Ghanaian or Nigerian or Egyptian or Moroccan or whatever country you come from. You may be the only person from that country they are meeting, or you may be the first person ever. Now, people have questions. Same way we live in Ghana or we live in other parts of the world, and we have a notion and an idea of other countries that we've never lived in or visited. It is the same thing that most people in the United States do. Some have genuine questions, and some of the questions that I've had to answer has been intriguing and funny, but those are some people's realities. So you quickly find yourself being a teacher, a historian, trying to explain things that people don't understand about your country to them, which led me to becoming friends with some amazing people. And these people actually ended up being my family on Ohio University campus. Like, they bought me my first winter jacket. They make sure I have food. They enjoy having conversations with me. They check on me. How are my classes going? So again, when you live in a different country, you become an ambassador of your country. And for me, I chose to embrace that and answer any and every kind of question that came my way. I was also fortunate while studying in Ohio University to have a social support system. And these are not people that I knew from anywhere. They are people that worked on campus, but really, for some reason, enjoyed my company and really wanted to be there for me. And so being able to have this social support system away from home was crucial. Most of the time, a lot of people don't understand the challenges that international students have to go through, which I'm going to be talking about a few in the later part of this video. And so they only see the "you guys come into our country" kind of vibe, but they also don't realize that, hey, these are people who are leaving everything behind to start afresh in a different country, to give themselves better opportunities. And it plays a part in your mental health. And of course, if you don't have good mental health, trust me, it's going to affect your studies. But these people took me in, as a brother, as a friend, and they made sure that the basic stuff that I needed, even if it's conversation, and I would go into their office, sit and vent, just tell them about how my day went, how my semester is going, what I'm facing, and things like that. I also had some amazing professors who took me a step further. They were always there for me because they've been in my situation. They also came here as international students, and so they kind of understood, and they were there for me in their own small way. And I can never ever talk about my international student experience without acknowledging these people. But yes, I had a social support system that at least helped improve my quality of life on campus, and so that is also worth mentioning. Before we continue this video, let's talk about our two sponsors for today's video. So this video is partly sponsored by Multimedia Power Limited. Now, if you're in Ghana and you need any form of multimedia or live stream service, look no further. Multimedia Power Limited have modern state-of-the-art equipment that will cater for any live streaming services or requests that you may need. From church live streaming, virtual concerts, birthday parties, anything is covered. So contact them on the numbers listed on the screen and also in the comment section below. The second sponsor for this video is, of course, Barline Music. Barline Music always provides us with our background music for our YouTube videos, but they have a state-of-the-art modern studio where they can record any requests or needs that you may have. Contact them on the website listed and also on the information listed in the description below. Okay, back to the video. So here are some of the challenges that international students usually face while studying in a different country. First of all, immigration issues or constraints. The immigration laws and regulations are basically one of the biggest issues international students face. For instance, because of immigration laws and rules and regulations, international students cannot work more than 20 hours a week, and they cannot work outside of university they are working or they are studying at. And this becomes an issue because in as much as there's enough work or there could be enough work on campus, international students cannot work more than 20 hours. That is an issue. Also, because of the immigration regulations and constraints on the category of visas that international students come to study on, it is usually difficult to have leeway to do certain things, which affects the experiences of international students living in the United States or any other parts of the country. The second biggest challenge is financial constraints. Now, some of us left home to be able to come here and work hard and give ourselves an opportunity at a better life, to make life better for our families. Now, when you come into the United States, there are so many things that come with a financial burden. So for instance, renting an apartment. If you are not on graduate assistantship, you need to work, pay your fees, pay bills. So it's usually really difficult to actually make enough money to be able to send some back home, which is a big deal because even if you want to find work outside campus, nope, you remember the immigration issue I talked about? It's always smiling in the corner saying that nope, you cannot do that. So that is also an issue. Are you going to make enough money to be able to take care of yourself here and also take care of family? It is always a big issue, but we keep on grinding anyways. The third thing or challenge that most international students go through is the fear of rejection. The fear of rejection in the sense that you are coming from a different country and you are going to be living in a different country. Are people in this other country are going to live in accept you? Remember, most people fear what they don't know or understand. And in my personal case, I've met people who are like, hey, yes, you come from Africa and the culture may be different, or so there's always that cultural difference which either pushes you away from people or pushes people away from you. And that is also a big deal because then you don't know whether to try to fit in or you try to stand out or just be by yourself. And as it is always said, no man is an island and no man stands alone. So when you find yourself in that situation, it's really difficult to even connect with people, to broaden your network base, and to also just have people that you can hang out with and talk to and things like that. Sometimes you meet a few people who kind of are intrigued that you come from a different country and they want to associate and know more about the country, but most often than not, it's kind of difficult. It's usually like finding a needle in a haystack, if you know what I mean. Another thing too that is usually a challenge is the fear of failure. Now, a lot of people don't really understand how difficult it is to study and live in a different country. As soon as you step foot on campus, whatever it is you think you know goes out of the window. You have to unlearn everything and relearn it. And in most cases than not, some people can't handle the level of expectation and the pressure and even meeting the standard of work required to be submitted at a graduate level. This sometimes leads to depression, people drop out of school and things like that. And so there's always that fear of failure, which basically sometimes pushes a lot of people to go into overdrive mode, which becomes a challenge for most, or which leads to severe consequences. And so that is also one of the things that international students face as well. Okay, so now that I've talked about the challenges and the negatives, what are some of the positives? Well, one of the positives is that you get to live and experience life in a different society culture, and country other than the country where you were born. I cannot tell you how amazing that feels, because depending on whichever country you come from or whichever country you are living, there's so many things that you'll be exposed to. For me, when I came here and I looked at how many different museums exist, how the infrastructure works, the fact that buildings even make accommodation for people with disabilities, I was like, oh my, so there's always that sense of, wow, there's a whole different world out there that I'm used to or exposed to. So that is one of the biggest positives. You also get to meet and interact with people from different backgrounds, especially if you are in a college situation where there are other international students. You get to meet people from countries that you didn't even know exist. I met a student. I actually was in a program with a student who was from Turkmenistan. Do you know where that is? If you do, leave that in the comment section below. Let me know that you know your geography. But yes, that was the first time I was actually hearing about that country, and it was amazing. So that's one of the positives that comes with living in a different country. Another positive about living in a different country is the fact that for me, I got the opportunity to work and study at the same time. And this can be handy, especially if you are leaving your country right after undergrad and you do not really have any work experience that you can put on your resume. Being in a country that allows you to go to school and work at the same time basically makes you kill two birds with one stone. You are getting or meeting your academic requirements whilst also building skills that will help you find a job once you are done with school, which is of course the ultimate reason for going to school, right? Unless you are not going to school in order to find a job. If you are in that situation, share with us in the comment section below. But yes, being in the United States and going to school and working has been of a huge benefit to me, because I've been able to enhance the skills that I already had, and I've also picked up some new skills which has become amazing in my day-to-day activities as well. So my next point is going to sort of piggyback on the point I just made. Being in the United States has helped me to acquire new skills just because of the availability of resources. My school library, for instance, had 7 floors. So just imagine how many books and resources could be there. I'm not even going to talk about online resources in terms of, free webinars, free courses that gives you certificates, all these things. And so for me, I've always cashed in on that. I've taken the opportunity to learn some new things, looked online for free courses that I've taken just to sharpen and enhance my skills. Even though I can still do some of these things if I was in Ghana, I feel like being here, I'm not only able to sharpen those skills, but I'm also able to put those new skills into practice, which for me is very important, because what is the point of learning a skill if you are not going to put it into practice? It's just a waste of your time, right? So yes, being in the United States, I've been able to learn some new skills, and I've also been able to put those skills into practice. If you've also been in the same situation, share with us in the comment section below. Let me know what skills you've picked up, and maybe I'll share a few resources in a different video about where you can get some free online courses and skill-based resources that you can use to also enhance your experience. Okay, so I've been living in the United States for 3 years, as I've said. Let me share with you some of the few things that I've done that I can call achievements since I've been in the United States. So the top on that list is probably going to be graduating from school. And I know, of course, you're going to say, well, if you start school, are you not supposed to graduate? Yes, in an ideal situation, you are supposed to graduate. But it is not everybody who starts that journey who gets to complete that journey. And that is why I'm very grateful, especially looking at how rocky my first semester was and how I managed to fight my way back into making good grades and all of that. Trust me, my first semester was way challenging, but then I knew that I had a goal. So graduating and making the people who put their faith in me, the people who constantly pushed and saw something in me was, and is still, one of my biggest achievements since I've been in the United States. Well, the second thing I think that I did, which was really cool, was when Ohio University reached out and said, hey, we want you to come do this promo video for us. And I think that it's really cool to be able to do that for my school, especially, like I said, after they recognized my contribution in the community in terms of events and things like that.
So one of the great things about a positive community is that it gives you the opportunity to be yourself. And I'm always continuously going to be myself because I care about creating community everywhere I go. On April 18th, give to what you care about most during Ohio's first ever Giving Day.
Which I always felt was really cool because, again, to come into a different community and make an impact to the extent that when people hear your name, it's always in a positive light, I kind of felt was really cool. Oh, of course, another thing that I kind of did which was really cool, and this happened when I moved to Virginia, was that I ended up on the local news. So again, if you've been following my channel, you know that I've been taking drone videos and I've been following the protests and everything that has been going on. And so one day, this news crew was like, hey, do you mind if we talk to you for a while? Actually, let me stop talking so that you check out the video.
And so today we spoke to a man who has been documenting both the Black Lives Matter protesters as well as the recent removal of the statues from high above in the sky using his drone. And he tells me he's helping record history.
I look at my drone footages and I'm like, I'm grateful to be part of this history. I wish it was under much better circumstances, but you know, history has always been written with a lot of friction, a lot of fighting and a lot of tension. So I'm grateful to be able to capture these images.
So yes, I ended up on local TV or national TV, if you want to call it that way, which I never thought was going to happen, but that was also really cool, and I'm appreciative of the CBS reporter and the cameraman who decided to talk to me that day. Okay people, so that has been my short version of my life living in the United States. I can go on and on and on and on, but this is basically to, you know, just share my journey with you since I came here August 2017 and what has been happening. Again, when you look at things on the surface, it looks like it's all been roses and honey and flowers and all of that, but don't also forget that every nice rose comes with a thorn, and I've had my fair share of challenges. I'm still dealing with a lot of challenges, but like I said, I didn't come this far only to come this far, and I'm going to use this opportunity to say thank you to everybody or anybody who has been a part of my journey since I arrived here 3 years ago. The good, the bad, the ugly, no matter how small or big, you have contributed to my stay in this country. I'm truly grateful. If I want to mention names, some people may not feel comfortable, and that list is going to go on and on and on, but if you're watching this video, know that from the deepest part of my heart, I genuinely appreciate every form of contribution that you've made to enhance or influence my experience in the United States. It could be that you taught me a harsh lesson. I'm grateful for that. It could be that you taught me a nice lesson. I'm grateful for that. Huge shout out to Ohio University for the experience. A huge shout out to the Center for International Studies, my department, my boss, like so many people, and I'm truly grateful. If you are just arriving in a different country to go to school, I'm going to tell you this: make your own experience. Even if you know somebody there, their experience is going to be different from yours. Put yourself out there, create your own experience, because that is the only way you can tell an authentic story. That is the only way you are going to experience that country on your own and in your own terms. So please do not stick your head in the books. Yes, you went there to study, but also remember that the learning process doesn't only happen in the classroom, because you might meet somebody who might teach you a lesson that is going to impact your life for a long time. Thank you all for taking time to watch this video. If this video provided you with anything of substance, share with me in the comment section below what that could be. And also, if you have a similar story to share that with us in the comment section below, because that is how we remain globally engaged. Continue staying safe out there, and until I see you on the next video, peace.